We warned the galaxy to leave us alone. Now they'll understand why. To anyone looking from space, Earth looked harmless. A planet with humans who had always been underestimated, dismissed as weak, primitive, and naive. But those who underestimated humanity were about to pay a heavy price. Commander Aiden Cross stood on the bridge of the Resolute, one of Earth's most advanced starships. The vessel hovered in geostationary orbit above the Pacific Ocean, a sleek shadow against the morning sun. Its black hull absorbed light like a predator, silent, waiting. Aiden's gaze was fixed on the holographic map projected before him. Red dots dotted the outer solar system, alien fleets. Small fleets, according to alien standards, but formidable in their intent. "They are ignoring us," said Lieutenant Myra Chen, standing beside him. Her eyes were sharp, reflecting the holographic starlight. They received the warnings, they read our messages, and yet they moved closer. Aiden didn't respond immediately. He had already known this would happen. The galaxy had always dismissed humans. They had always assumed that Earth was backward, a planet with clever animals but not a serious threat. They had been wrong, disastrously wrong. Humanity had been preparing quietly for decades, building weapons, fleets, and systems that were decades ahead of anything in the galactic community. And now, the moment of reckoning had arrived. "Signal the fleet," Aiden said finally. His voice was calm, steady, but inside it carried a barely contained storm. "Broadcast one final warning. Tell them again to leave Earth alone. Make it clear. This is not negotiation. This is final." Myra nodded, tapping commands on the console. Within moments, the human message streamed across the galaxy, carried by quantum communication channels impossible for conventional alien interceptors to scramble. The message was simple, concise, and unambiguous. "We warned the alien superweapon drifted above Mars like a dark monolith. Its massive hull shimmered with energy shields, and its weapon systems glowed with power that could obliterate cities in seconds." Commander Velrak of the Zealth Dominion stood on his bridge, his claws gripping the console so hard his scales nearly cracked. For the first time in his long life he felt true fear. "They've disabled our fleets," one officer gasped. "Our ships are drifting. Our weapons are offline. How can they stop us?" Velrek's silver eyes narrowed. "I do not know," he admitted, voice trembling. "But humans, they are not what we thought." Far below, on the Resolute's bridge, Commander Aiden Cross and Lieutenant Myra Chen watched the alien superweapon closely. Thousands of human drones hovered in precise formation around it. Orbital cannons on Mars, Earth, and the Moon were all aimed with exact coordinates. Every human ship, fighter, and stealth drone moved with perfect synchronization, controlled by advanced AI that predicted every enemy move. Myra's eyes were wide. "Sir, they're about to fire. If the superweapon hits, it could destroy everything." Aiden's expression remained calm. "Let it. It will fail. Every strike has been anticipated. Humanity does not fight blindly." The alien weapon unleashed its first salvo. Energy beams tore through space, powerful enough to shatter mountains, but human defenses activated instantly. Gravity fields shifted the trajectory of the beams, micro-drones intercepted missiles mid-flight, and AI-guided shields neutralized the attacks with precision. Not a single human ship was touched. Velrak's officers shouted in disbelief. "Impossible. Every attack, they stop it before it hits." "They anticipated it," Velrak whispered, panic rising. "They are controlling the battlefield." The human fleet moved silently. Stealth fighters darted around the superweapon like shadows, planting electromagnetic disruptors on its hull. Micro-drones infiltrated its systems, hacking into core processors. Slowly, methodically, the superweapon's power faltered. Its energy shields flickered, its weapons systems jammed, and internal alarms screamed warnings the Zealth could no longer control. On Earth, Aiden leaned forward, fingers resting lightly on the command console. "Phase 2, he said. Engage the boarding drones. Thousands of tiny drones slipped into the superweapon, disabling weapons, redirecting power, and capturing its systems. Velrak's officers screamed as their controls turned against them. The superweapon's main cannon fired accidentally at a drifting supply ship. Panic erupted. The mighty Zelith weapon was collapsing from within, not by force but by intelligence. Velrak roared, "Stop them! Stop them now, we cannot let humanity," but it was too late. Humanity had predicted every possible response, every desperate maneuver, and had countered it before it happened. The superweapon floated helplessly, its energy fading, its pride shattered. Aiden turned to Myra. "They will learn humility now. Prepare the final message." Myra nodded, and the human fleet initiated its broadcast. Across the galaxy, every major civilization received the same message, delivered through secure quantum channels. "We warned the galaxy to leave us alone. You ignored us. Now you see why. Humanity is not weak. Humanity is not primitive. Humanity will not be underestimated." The message was clear. It was not a threat. It was a statement of fact. And with it, the human fleet demonstrated their dominance. Alien commanders, seeing the superweapon neutralized without a single human loss, felt a fear they had never known. The Zelith Dominion, the same empire that had laughed at humanity, was now in retreat, its fleets crippled and its pride destroyed. But Aiden knew the battle was not only about defeating ships, it was about changing the galaxy's perception. "We do not destroy them completely," he said. "We give them a chance to understand and survive. That is true strength." Stealth drones moved silently, disabling remaining alien ships and leaving them drifting, powerless. Human fighters escorted unarmed ships to safety. Civilians and colonized planets were untouched. Humanity's first strike was devastating, but controlled. It was a lesson, not a massacre. Velrak slumped in his command chair, staring at the fading display of his fleet. They are unstoppable," he muttered. For centuries, he had commanded the galaxy with arrogance, believing in the superiority of his species. Now all that confidence had crumbled under the calculated precision of humanity. Across the galaxy, other species watched the broadcasts, first in disbelief, then in fear. Reports came in from multiple systems. Human fleets had not only defeated the Zelith superweapon, but had done so without significant loss. Human ships were faster, more intelligent, more coordinated than anything seen before. Even the most powerful empires realized they had underestimated humans, and that mistake could no longer be repeated. On the Resolute, Aiden addressed his fleet. "Today, we have shown the galaxy what humans are capable of. Tomorrow, we will ensure they remember it. Let them rebuild their fleets if they wish, but they will think twice before testing humanity again." Myra's eyes scanned the holographic map. "Sir, reports are coming in from other systems. They are surrendering, negotiating peace. Some even want to form alliances." Aiden nodded. "Good. Strength is not just in weapons, it is in reputation. Let them fear us, respect us, and choose wisely. Humanity does not seek war, but we will not tolerate insult or arrogance." The first wave of alien surrender messages arrived in bursts. Entire fleets of the Zelith Dominion had stopped advancing, some retreating to repair, others sending envoys to Earth. Humans had not fired a single lethal shot unnecessarily, yet their control of the battlefield was absolute. The galaxy was learning a lesson it would never forget. In orbit around Earth, civilians watched the skies without fear. They did not know the details of the battle, but news networks carried reports of incredible human victories. A planet that had been underestimated now dominated the surrounding systems with unmatched precision and intelligence. Humanity was no longer a small, primitive race. It was a force to be reckoned with. Meanwhile, Aiden and his officers monitored the remaining threats. "There may be more," he said. "More fleets, more weapons, more tests, but humanity is ready. We are always ready." Patience, preparation, and intelligence will carry us through. Myra leaned back, relieved. They finally understand. Humanity is not to be trifled with. Aiden's expression softened slightly. Yes, but understanding alone is not enough. We must remain vigilant. The galaxy is vast, and some will always underestimate us again. Velrak, now humiliated and defeated, sent one final message from his crippled command ship. We underestimated you. We see now humanity is not to be challenged. It was a confession of failure, pride shattered, and respect finally earned. Aiden allowed a small smile. Exactly as we planned. They have learned the lesson, and humanity stands stronger for it. Not by rage, not by blind aggression, but by intelligence, patience, and precision. Across the galaxy, the story of humanity's first strike spread like wildfire. Other species who had once dismissed Earth now reconsidered every decision, every assumption, every slight. Humans were no longer the underdogs. They were a force, respected, feared, and admired. The HFY legacy had been cemented in one decisive battle. On the Resolute, Aiden addressed the fleet one last time. Remember this day. Remember that humanity is never weak. That patience, intelligence, and unity make us unstoppable. We do not fight for cruelty. We fight to ensure survival, respect, and understanding. The galaxy will remember this moment, and they will never forget humanity again. Myra nodded, her voice quiet but full of pride. We warned them. They did not listen. And now they finally understand. From Earth, the sun rose over the oceans, mountains, and cities, shining over a planet that had silently prepared for decades. Humans had chosen restraint, intelligence, and precision, and in doing so, they had changed the galaxy forever. They had shown that underestimating humanity was the gravest mistake any civilization could make. And as humans looked up at the stars, the galaxy learned a lesson it would never forget. Humanity was patient, intelligent, precise, and utterly unstoppable when it chose to BEE Galaxy to leave us alone. Interfere with humanity at your own risk. We are capable of defending ourselves, and we will do so with precision and without mercy. Back on the alien command bridge, the message flickered on screens. Counselor Velrak of the Zelith Dominion laughed. He was a tall, scaled alien with eyes like molten silver. Humans. Always full of threats they cannot back up. They are weak. Their fleets are tiny. Their technology is primitive. Let them talk. Soon we will see their truth. Velrak waved his clawed hand, signaling his officers. Prepare to test them. Send in the scouts. Let's see what these creatures can do. The scouts were small ships, sleek, fast, and armed lightly. They were designed to gauge strength, to provoke and retreat before retaliation. Velrak believed they would come back with amusing tales of human cowardice or weakness. What he didn't realize was that the humans had already accounted for scouts like these. Every sensor, every possible approach had been studied, mapped, and trapped decades before. Aiden observed the approaching alien vessels on the Resolute screen. They don't know what's coming, he murmured. They really don't. Shall we intercept? Myra asked. No, Aiden said. Not yet. Let them come closer. Let them feel safe. Humanity has always fought with purpose, not impulse. When we strike, it will be precise, efficient, final. The scouts entered the outer orbit of Mars. They moved confidently, ignoring the warnings streaming directly to their systems. One of them fired a minor probe meant to scan human defenses. The probe never returned. Gone, said Myra, reading the sensors. Not gone, Aiden corrected. Captured or neutralized. Check the readings again. The probe had not only been neutralized, but its systems had been hacked in real time. Alien data flowed into human servers, revealing fleet size, communication methods, and weapon capabilities. Humanity now knew more about the Zelith than the Zelith knew about them. Every move, every weakness, every strength, it was all laid bare for human eyes. You're certain they won't detect it? Myra asked, her voice tense. Completely, Aiden said. Our encryption is quantum level. Even if they try, they'll never know until it's too late. Hours passed, and still the aliens moved closer. They laughed, thinking themselves superior. They did not understand the silent patience of humanity. On Earth, leaders watched the unfolding events with calm faces, their hands resting lightly on consoles that controlled entire cities and fleets. Humans were not rushing to war. Humans were preparing to teach the galaxy a lesson that would not be forgotten. Deep within Earth's orbital defense network, engineers monitored every system. Satellites, drones, stealth fighters, orbital cannons, all lay in wait, linked together in a vast web of intelligence and firepower. They had been built quietly in secret, while alien empires squabbled among themselves over trade, conquest, and politics. Humans had waited, watching, learning, perfecting. Aiden turned to Myra. "Prepare the fleet. All squadrons ready, all weapons systems online. But do not fire until I give the order. Remember this, they underestimate us. That is our advantage." Meanwhile, on the alien scouts' bridge, sensors began to flicker. Their instruments were failing, systems confusing, readings impossible to interpret. "Commander, our instruments, they're corrupted," one officer shouted. Velrak's silver eyes narrowed. "Impossible. Humans cannot manipulate systems at this distance. Recall the scouts." But it was too late. The scouts had already wandered into a trap that humanity had set years before. Invisible to conventional sensors, microdrones swarmed around the alien ships, cutting communications, manipulating controls, and feeding false data. The alien vessels drifted into Mars' orbital defense grid, unaware that every surface was lined with human weapons, hidden and primed. Aiden pressed a button on his console. Lights on the Resolute flickered in synchronization with thousands of other vessels across Earth's orbit. Human drones deployed silently, faster than the eye could follow, encircling the alien scouts in a precise formation. Gravity traps, EMP pulses, and neural scramblers were poised to disable the ships entirely. But still, humans waited. Patience was the final weapon. On the alien side, panic began to ripple through the ranks. "Commander, our ships, they are stopped," shouted an officer. Velrak's scales bristled with anger. "What is this trickery? Send the rest of the fleet, crush them." His voice trembled slightly, not with fear, but with the first taste of doubt. He had underestimated humans. That small seed of doubt would grow rapidly as the consequences unfolded. Back on Earth, Aiden spoke to the fleet. "Stand down. We are not attacking yet. Let them learn humility first." His words were calm, but his eyes burned with determination. Humanity had always been underestimated. They had always been dismissed. But they had also always risen to the challenge, transforming weakness into strength, mockery into legend. The aliens did not retreat. Instead, they transmitted messages back, demanding compliance, threatening Earth, mocking the warnings, confident that no primitive species could withstand their might. They were about to learn why humans were not primitive. Myra turned to Aiden. "Sir, they're preparing weapons. They will strike soon." "Let them," he said. "We have prepared. They will learn to regret their arrogance." The first contact between the scouts and the humans ended quietly, almost invisibly. Not a single human vessel fired. Yet the alien ships were crippled, their systems hacked, their probes neutralized, their arrogance shattered. Humanity had not fought yet, and already the galaxy had begun to take notice. That evening, on the bridge of the Resolute, Aiden gazed at the stars. Each dot of light represented an empire, a species, a civilization that had ignored humanity's warning, and soon every one of them would learn the cost of dismissal. "We warned them," he said softly, almost to himself. "They did not listen. Soon they will understand why." Myra placed a hand on his shoulder. "And when we strike, sir, they will see us as we truly are." Aiden nodded. "Yes, they will see the truth of humanity, not weak, not primitive, but unstoppable when we choose to be." Above the Earth, the night sky shimmered with the quiet hum of human technology. Drones moved like silent phantoms, satellites shifted imperceptibly, orbital weapons adjusted into position, and fleets of stealth ships drifted in formation, ready for the first human strike. The galaxy had been warned. The galaxy had ignored the warning, and humanity would not give it another chance. Somewhere far away in the alien command hubs, Velrak and his officers argued, recalculated, and panicked. They still believed humans were bluffing. But the moment of truth approached faster than they realized. For Earth and for humanity, the first strike would not just be a defense. It would be a message the galaxy would never forget. Humanity had waited quietly for decades, perfecting their strength, and now the galaxy would see that patience was not weakness, and warnings were never idle words. And so, as the twin moons of Earth reflected the sun's light over the quiet cities and mountains, humanity waited, poised and patient. The galaxy would soon learn that underestimating humans was the gravest mistake it had ever made. Because humans did not just fight for survival, they fought to ensure that their enemies would never make the same mistake again. The alien scouts had underestimated humanity, and now the true cost of that arrogance was about to unfold. Commander Aiden Cross stood on the bridge of the Resolute, watching the red dots of alien ships shift across the holographic map. It was early morning again on Earth, but the calm outside was a thin illusion. Humans had waited for this moment for decades. Every calculation, every simulation, every strategy had been designed for this exact scenario, a test of patience by a galaxy that refused to listen. "Sir," Lieutenant Myra Chen said, her voice tense, "they've begun mobilizing their main fleet. The Zealoth are sending reinforcements from nearby systems. It won't be long before they realize what happened to their scouts." Aiden's gaze didn't move from the map. "Let them come. Every step they take brings them closer to understanding why they should have listened." The human fleets were already in position, spread across the inner planets of the solar system. Stealth ships hid among asteroids, orbital cannons waited in geosynchronous orbits, and drone swarms, thousands of them, drifted silently in space, ready to strike at a moment's notice. To the aliens, it looked like nothing was there. To humanity, it was a perfect web of destruction. Earth's leaders had given strict orders. Humanity would not strike first in anger. Humans fought with precision, not emotion. The plan was to incapacitate the alien fleets quickly, minimize unnecessary destruction, and send a clear message: do not underestimate us. The alien main fleet arrived first above Mars. Their ships were massive, bristling with weaponry and energy shields. Commander Velrak watched from his command vessel, his molten silver eyes gleaming with arrogance. "This will be simple," he said. "Destroy them quickly and move on. A primitive planet is no match for the Zealoth armada." But Velrak had misjudged humanity. He did not know that every fleet movement, every attack pattern, every possible scenario had been anticipated and prepared for decades. Humans had studied the galaxy not with arrogance, but with patience. And patience, as he would soon discover, was a far deadlier weapon than raw firepower. The first strike was quiet, almost unnoticeable. Human stealth drones approached the outer edges of the alien fleet, invisible to conventional sensors. Each drone carried precise electromagnetic pulses, micrograviton disruptors, and neural hacks capable of disabling ships instantly. Within moments, the alien fleet's communication network began to falter. Orders conflicted, sensors misread, and weapons locked on nothing. Confusion rippled through the alien ranks. Velrak's officers panicked. "Commander, our sensors are failing, systems failing," one shouted. Velrak bared his fangs. "Impossible, humanity cannot." Aiden's voice cut through the calm on the Resolute. "Prepare to engage, strike now." No hesitation. The first human fleet, a line of agile fighters led by Aiden's flagship, struck. They moved with perfect synchronization, weaving between alien vessels and exploiting gaps invisible to the naked eye. Energy beams from orbital cannons struck with surgical precision, disabling engines, shields, and weapons in seconds. One by one, alien ships began to drift powerless, trapped by human microdrones and electromagnetic nets. Myra Chen's fingers danced across the console. "Sir, they're trying to regroup, but every move they make is anticipated. It's like we know what they'll do before they do it." Aiden nodded. "We do, and when humans fight with knowledge and patience, there is no defeat." The Zealth fleet scrambled desperately, firing energy beams and missiles. But human defenses were ready. Countermeasures intercepted missiles mid-flight. Graviton traps altered trajectories of entire ships. AI-guided drones disabled weapon systems without a single human firing a shot from onboard cannons. It was not brute force that won the day. It was intelligence, strategy, and preparation. On the alien command bridge, chaos had replaced confidence. Officers screamed, systems beeped alarms that had no answers, and Velrak's pride shattered under the reality of human ingenuity. "Commander, the humans, how they are controlling our ships," he stammered, scales bristling in disbelief. "Impossible," but it was not impossible. Humanity had spent decades perfecting the art of warfare, not with emotion, but with precision and science. Every weapon, every fleet maneuver, every defense system had been tested and perfected in simulations, so advanced they anticipated every alien tactic. The galaxy had assumed humans were weak. Now, every assumption was being destroyed. From Earth, Aiden watched the holographic map of the battlefield. Red dots became sparse as alien ships disabled or captured. Blue dots, human fleets moved with precision, never colliding, always in control. Myra tapped a console rapidly, reading the alien response. "They're trying to fire at us, sir, but their targeting systems are all jammed. Every beam, every missile rerouted or neutralized." Aiden allowed himself a small smile. "Exactly as planned. They wanted to test us. Now they will learn." The battle continued, but it was no longer a test. It was a lesson. Alien ships that had approached Earth with arrogance now drifted helplessly in space, their captains struggling to regain control. Humanity did not destroy unnecessarily. Civilians and unarmed vessels were spared. The humans were sending a message: strength without cruelty, intelligence without recklessness, and mercy with a deadly warning. Meanwhile, across the galaxy, other species had begun to take notice. Observatories picked up reports of human fleets operating far beyond their supposed technological level. Rumors spread like wildfire. Humans were not primitive. Humans were dangerous. Humans were unstoppable. Yet, many still doubted, believing these reports to be exaggeration. They would learn soon enough. Back above Mars, Aiden's fleet executed the next phase of the plan. Alien warships trapped by graviton nets were silently boarded by human drones, their systems hacked, and their weapons turned against them. Messages flashed across alien consoles, warning them that any further attacks would be met with absolute precision. Velrak's arrogance had led to disaster. His fleet was a cage, and the key was in human hands. Velrak roared in frustration. "Commander, retreat! Retreat immediately." His voice shook with rage, but the humans did not pursue recklessly. They maintained a controlled perimeter, showing dominance without annihilation. They were teaching, not slaughtering. This was the first strike, not for revenge, but to assert humanity's place in the galaxy. On Earth, in the control center, scientists monitored the battle. Drones relayed real-time data, feeding calculations back to AI command centers that adjusted tactics instantly. Humans were fighting not with passion but with calculation. Every alien action had a counter, every strike a solution, every escape route blocked. Myra leaned over Aiden's shoulder. "Sir, they're sending a new fleet, one massive ship, a superweapon." Her voice dropped slightly. "It's unlike anything we've ever seen." Aiden's gaze sharpened. Good, that's the real test. Let them show us their full strength. We will be ready. Humanity had faced threats before, but never a weapon of this scale, yet they had prepared for decades. Every calculation, every system, every fleet maneuver had anticipated this. Humans were never unready, they were patient. The alien superweapon moved closer, its energy shield glowing ominously. Velrak's confidence was gone, replaced by desperation. He attempted to fire, but human AI systems predicted every attack, neutralizing each strike before it could reach orbit. The superweapon's first salvo failed entirely. Alien officers stared at consoles in disbelief. Impossible. How are they doing this? We are the Zealth. We are supposed to be superior. Aiden's voice carried through the Resolute. We warned them. They did not listen. Now they will understand why. His words were calm, but they carried the weight of centuries of preparation, strategy, and human pride. By the time the first day of battle ended, the alien fleet was crippled. Ships drifted helplessly, weapons offline, engines disabled, communications jammed. Humans had not lost a single vessel. The message was clear. The galaxy could no longer ignore humanity. Humans were not weak, and warnings should not be dismissed lightly. In the quiet that followed, Aiden looked at Myra. They will regroup. They will try again, but they will never underestimate humanity again. Not now, not ever. Myra nodded. Sir, do you think they understand yet? Aiden shook his head slightly. Not yet. They will understand soon enough. This was only the first strike. Humanity does not fight for cruelty. We fight to survive, but we also fight to make sure the galaxy never forgets our strength. Above Earth, stealth ships slipped silently through space, preparing for the next phase. Orbital cannons readied their targeting systems, and drones moved in unseen formations. The first strike had been precise, controlled, and devastating, but it was only the beginning. Humans had waited for this moment for decades, and the galaxy would pay attention now. Back on Velrak's command ship, the alien commander stared out at the disabled scouts and drifting ships. He had underestimated humans. The arrogance of centuries had failed him. And he knew deep in his core that humanity was unlike any opponent he had ever faced. Somewhere on Earth, Aiden crossed his arms, gazing at the holographic map. Tomorrow, we show them even more. They will understand not just that humans can fight, but that humans cannot be ignored. The galaxy had been warned. The galaxy had ignored the warning. And humanity had begun to teach the first lesson in a series that no civilization would forget.